Dude, I just watched that movie. It's so funny.
The Zombieland?
Zombieland 2.
Zombieland 2. Yeah. God, dude,
Hi,
she is so
Madison. It's so funny.
She's like, you were locked in a freezer for 2 years or whatever, 10 years. That's so funny.
Welcome back to another episode of The Supernaturals. We're
Hi,
your
guys.
hosts, Cal, Jake.
Yeah.
If you don't know us, now you should.
Good one. Yes, we are back. I thought you were going to talk. I was sipping a Monster.
You said 3 words. I thought you were going to talk.
Well, no, I got to talk the whole goddamn time
true,
because
I have
today
no idea what's going on.
Jake has no idea what this is. I came across this little number and I loved it. I mean, it's horrible, but it's also super intriguing and very interesting and begs a lot of questions.
Time to solve a mystery.
We won't, but it's cool. This is unsolved. You can drop your theories down below.
Yeah.
Go ahead and like and subscribe the video. And I'm just kidding.
We don't ask you to do that, but if you do,
I mean,
we appreciate you.
Kind of sick if you did. Would be really cool. I will personally give every one of you that likes and subscribes this video a crisp high five. So
That's a thumbs up.
air high five. There it is. All right. Thank you for continuing to hang out with us because this is fun. It's our little spooky corner. And yeah, it's fun. I don't know.
Sure is. I'm pretty excited for today, though.
Yeah, you should be. I'm
a little nervous, though.
It's nutty, son.
All right. All right.
So today, you guys might have heard about this story, but
If you haven't,
it's lock in. Everybody, go ahead and lock in.
lock in your answer.
Sometimes, honestly, it is kind of fun to be that kind of like YouTuber. Everybody, make sure you lock the fuck in. I'm gonna.
God, I can't sometimes.
If we ever move out to like LA or something for like this pod, I never want to, but I'm saying like if we did, I would change my name to like Yonder. You'd be Ches. What's up, guys? It's Ches and Yonder.
Why do I have to be Ches?
What's up, dude? Yonder.
Yo, is Yonder over there?
That's funny. I just got that. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Over yonder. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. I think your Uber's here.
How did you do that?
Oh man. Yeah, if you guys haven't watched Real Bros of Simi Valley, go give that a watch. It's so
We
funny.
quote it way too much.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
not way too much, just the right amount.
Yeah, you get like half of our references. I mean, honestly, even if you talk to us in like real life, it's probably a Simi Valley quote or an Office quote or a New Girl quote.
Our life is full of quotes.
This is quotes.
Movie quotes can be literally used for everything.
Yeah, you want to know how to talk to Jake and me when we're out in public. If you guys ever want to come up and say hi to us, if you see us, just come up with a movie quote or a New Girl quote. Just come up and be like 29, and then we'll immediately fuck with you like heavily.
True. Also, that just made me think of another movie quote from Zombieland 2 when he's like, "Time to nut up or shut up." He's like, "That was so 2009."
Yeah. I think Emma Stone, she said that she wants to do a Zombieland 3, but she wants it to be another like 10-year wait so that they come back and they're like old as shit. And then it's just like it keeps going until like they die. Like,
they have to kill him off at some point.
Or you just leave it. I mean,
they're going to die eventually.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like Zombieland 2 is pretty fun. Like, I don't want to see them die. It's like a comedy now.
It is a comedy. It's so
funny.
funny.
I don't want to see him die, dude. That would suck. But if they did die, they'd have to have some like
epic.
Yeah, really like character. Like if he died, like if what's his name, Tallahassee. If he
looked like he was gonna die
in the second one.
At the end of the second one.
Yeah. If they were gonna kill him off, I would hope it'd be for like something Twinkie related or something. You know, like that would be funny. Or I don't know, something like that. But anyway, let's get into it.
Oh, we shall.
Okay. So I just want to ask first. So what we're doing today, you've probably already seen the title. We're doing the coincidence murders. So I do want to go ahead and ask you, coincidence. Have you had any that you can think of off the top of your head? Any kind of weird coincidences?
Not really. Not that I can think of.
So you haven't had like
I mean, sometimes, but I don't know. They happen not that frequent, so my memory doesn't really retain them as much.
That's fair. Have you ever had like a bad dream that turns out to be real?
I thought so. Thought we lost the Roswell episode. I was freaking out.
Yeah, Jake
internally freaking out.
Jake literally just like nonchalantly, we're just hanging out, and he was just, what were you doing? I think we were watching the football game.
Yeah, and I was just like, so we might have lost the Roswell episode.
I go, what? It was after like a big play too. It was just like randomly. I'm just like, damn, that was a crazy play. So we might have lost the Roswell episode. I was like, what? And just anyway, so what? You can't just say that.
I was freaking out, man. I was like, dude, I hadn't checked. I hadn't looked. I was kind of scared to look.
Yeah.
So I just put it out there.
It's crazy. We didn't, thank God.
It's still alive.
As you guys have probably seen the video of us just in the hotel room because,
you already know. And if you don't know, the trip the town was just not it.
The town was not it. We really, really wanted to enjoy it and like it, but good Lord, is it a dying town? No offense if you live in Roswell, but maybe like try to fix it. You have a gold mine of like tourism, and like half of you didn't seem like you even wanted to like care about aliens, which like I get, but also, I mean, it could be really cool. Like a UFO themed town. That could be really cool.
Actually, I do have a coincidence for you.
Oh, okay. Let's go. Yeah.
Sorry to circle back to that. I just thought of one.
It's good. Yeah.
When we went out this one night and we're partying for our friend's bachelor party. It was a fun time. We were out at a bar and we're all like, what's going on downstairs?
Oh, yeah.
Well, our Colorado Avalanche had just won the Stanley Cup. And they so happened to come to that exact bar.
It was really just Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar, but yeah.
And the goalie.
Oh, which one?
Who was the goalie at the time? It wasn't Georgi. It was, I don't even know who the goalie was. Fuck. Regardless, that was crazy. We just happened to be at that bar that night.
That was a fun night.
And some of our friends got to touch the Stanley Cup, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
And it turned out to be a good night.
I had a great night. It was funny that night. Quick story time. This has nothing to do with the thing, but that was a fun night because we went out for Eric's bachelor party. Shout out Eric, love you. And yeah, I think at one point everybody disappeared, and like I remember
we all split up.
Devo was talking to one of these girls. And like then our friend group merged with their friend group, as you do. And then everybody kind of just split up. I remember I was going to get a drink and then come back and all of a sudden everybody's gone. And I see one of the girls there and I was like, hey, I saw you were, talking to my friends. Do you have any idea where they went? She's like, no, I lost my friends too. And then I was just like, let's help each other find our friends. Like, who cares? And so we did. And then we ended up hitting it off. Yeah, that was fun. That girl was cool, and talked to her for a little bit and stuff. But then, yeah, all of a sudden I had a good night. She was showing me how to dance because I don't dance. I'm too big to dance. I feel like I can hit the.
No one's too big to dance.
I can hit a mad gritty. But I can't dance.
Can you gritty right now?
No, not on the pod. Maybe I'll just if enough people ask, we'll just post a video to our Instagram. Just.
Dude, grittying is pretty fun though.
Yeah, it is. So the point is though, yeah, that was a fun night. And then like, I don't know, it was fun. And then she's like, okay, I got to go home. I was like, all right, see ya. And then I'm trying to find everybody else because I think only Eric was upstairs with me and her. And then I walked downstairs to try to find everybody, and there's just some massive crowd, and I just see fucking Nathan McKinnon holding up that fucking Stanley Cup, and I was like, this is a fun night. This is a really cool night.
Dude, I had lost everyone too. And I was just like upstairs as well, looking around going, where did everybody go?
Yeah.
So I just wandered downstairs because I was actually going to leave and go home. I was like, I don't know where everybody is.
Yeah.
And it seemed like, people were doing their own thing. And I was just like, probably should just go home.
Yeah.
Grab an Uber, leave.
Yeah.
See Josh downstairs. And he's like, dude, you got to come here.
Yeah.
The Avs are here. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's so cool.
Wild coincidence that we showed up there.
Yeah. So there's coincidences like that. I think that
one is more lighthearted. I'm sure there's some bad things that happen, like being at the wrong place in the wrong time.
Yeah.
For sure.
But, so nothing with dreams though? Like you haven't had like a dream and then all of a sudden you wake up and it's like, that's weird. And then that happens.
No, I did. Remember when I thought I could recall that movie?
The cages dipped in blood. The actual title of the movie was The Outwaters.
I really thought I had it.
No, I get it, dude.
I was digging deep into my subconscious there.
I think,
but nothing crazy. Nothing.
I haven't had any coincidences. I've definitely had like where I go to bed, I wake up and, it feels like I'm, I might have had a dream where I'm still dating my ex from like 5 years ago.
I've had
and
those.
Then all of a sudden it takes like 5 minutes to be like, wait, am I? And then you kind of go to your like phone and you check and you're like half asleep. You're just like, nope, still single.
I don't have those as often anymore. Really,
all the time.
I have the school dreams still, where I freaking just have one assignment left to turn in to graduate, and I don't do it.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I understand that for you because you trip about every goddamn thing that you have to do.
I graduated 5 years ago.
I know, but you'll have like 3 things like that you have to do. You'll be like, oh, I have to do this and that and this. And you're like, I'm so busy. And then you finish them in like half an hour and you'll be like, all right, I'm done.
I do overly stress for no reason.
Yes, you do. I also, though, I guess we'll talk about it in a bit, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not into my exes anymore. It's just weird. I think I just am like,
they just pop up.
Yeah. It's strange.
They're just
strange.
like, hey, what's up? How are you? And sometimes they actually say, hey, how are you?
All right. Well,
Soul, chill out.
I do want to say.
It's like, if you're listening right now.
No, this has nothing. No, I don't even think they listen to this shit, which I hope to God not. But
I bet they do.
No, they don't. I hope not.
You don't know?
I hope not. I really hope not. Well, they're
just
not really
checking
into
on
this
you,
stuff.
bro.
They're not really into this stuff, so I hope not. But the point, remember New Year's Eve? I want to talk about that. I want to say that story.
That was funny.
I want to say that story. Okay. So
you got to tell every detail.
I will.
Every detail.
Okay. So again, we'll get into the murders here in a second. This is just a little dive into our. This is a coincidence. This is a weird fucking
But it wasn't
coincidence.
really mine.
No. It was mine. 100% my coincidence. Okay. So I was dating this girl, my more recent ex, and we dated for a while, and then when I was in college, and then we broke up, and she lives in the Springs. I live in Denver. So it was like, there's no way I could just run into her, right? Like, whatever. So Jake had only met her a couple of times, and we were out at New Year's. Well, first of all, we weren't supposed to even go out that night.
No. We decided
literally were like,
last minute to just, you know what? Let's just go to a bar downtown and do something different than a house.
Yeah. So we were going to watch, there were football games on. Was it Georgia-Ohio State game?
Yeah, we got there early.
Yeah. So we get there, just grab some beers. We were meeting a couple buddies there, and we're upstairs watching the game, like last second field goal, crazy shit. And then Jake, he just like says a little comment. I didn't really think too much of it. And he goes, dude, I think I know that girl. And I was like, oh yeah, well, yeah. George is about to kick this field goal or whatever. I was like, I'm watching this shit. And then he's like, dude, no, for real. Like, I think I know that girl. And I go, oh yeah. And I'm like, which one? And he's like, the one, like, look behind you to like, you're right. And I was like, oh, okay, let me see. And I look, and then I kind of like double take, and I go, I look at Jake and I go, no fucking way.
And
dude,
I'm like,
her.
What? Who?
I'm like, that's my ex, bro.
And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. He goes, no way. And I'm like, bro, why is she up here? What the hell? She likes all these like country bars and shit. So I'm like,
It is a country bar, kind of.
Not really,
It
though.
doesn't play country music, but it is.
If you know, it's Dierks Bentley Whiskey Row, and that is like more club than country bar. So
it's true. However,
she
Dierks
likes the
Bentley
hardcore
is
country shit.
country.
The name,
Yeah,
they're playing like club shit,
But
lasers and stuff.
But the other one that he owns, I believe, is
in Nashville.
Yeah,
that one is country.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I doubt that's what she was probably thinking. But so anyway, I just kind of saw her and I just go, oh my God, no, I'm not doing this. And then like it was a weird thing. And then I wasn't able to like, I think she went downstairs and I just stayed upstairs the whole time. I was like, I don't want to do this. And then she texts me and she's like, have fun at Whiskey Row. And I was like, oh wait, you're here? I was like, wow, that's so crazy. And then she, I remember we left. We literally left. We were trying to find out how to, I think if I remember correctly, I did talk to her for like a second, like a brief second. And I was just like, oh yeah, nice to see you. And then I gave her a hug and then I left. And as I left, I was stressing. Because I mean, I still have feels, bro. I had mad feelings for this girl, and that's probably why we tried again, and it also didn't work. So the point is, though, I had mad feelings, and I hadn't seen her in like a year, and then all of a sudden we left, and we're sitting like in this little nook, right? You remember that? It was like a little nook, like a little store, like front or whatever, and we're trying to find a way home. We're trying to get an Uber. And we're like a block or two away from the bar now. And all of a sudden, I just get like kicked in the back, like a little playful kick in the back. And I turn around and it's fucking her, dude.
I know.
Like, how the heck? She's like walking away and she's like, I'll see you around. I'm just like, what the hell?
If you thought he was stressing then, after that moment, he was like, what is happening?
Then my dumbass, I don't know. I was like, oh, this means something. Oh, God. It didn't. It meant absolutely nothing. So anyway,
it meant life lessons. That's what it meant.
You know what I did? I gained some XP from that. Definitely got another level. I leveled up.
Yeah, I leveled up.
I put a skill point into don't be a dumbass, and it worked. So.
I tried to warn him. I did as much as a friend could do. But you know, when you got blinders on, you go for what your heart thinks.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you get kicked down. However.
Yeah. It was fun.
You've become better for it. So
I have. I've definitely gotten more clear vision.
There's a lot of positives that came out of the experience.
We are 23 minutes into this and haven't said jack shit. All right. No, it's good though. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully you guys like to hear a little bit about our lives and stuff too.
Again, it's just a hangout, and then we'll get into the real darker stuff.
The real nit and gritty. The real.
Where we can talk monotone.
Then we could talk about
September 14th, 1943.
Thought you were going somewhere else with that. That scared me. I was like, whoa, chill out, Jake.
Well,
yeah, now you get it.
Okay, that was just a random date that had nothing.
What the hell?
I said 1943. Chill out.
Yeah, but the first little part of it, I was like, Jake.
That was
not
really
talking
close.
about that.
That was really, really close. However, that is a completely different date.
I'm sure like half the people listening also just got a heart attack. Just like, whoa. Anyway. So yeah, dreams is basically what we were talking about. So while we could do an entire
dream.
Okay, Shark Boy, chill out. we could do an entire episode dedicated to dreams and what they potentially mean. For this segment, we are just going to look at some of the bad dreams and what they could mean. For starters, nobody really knows what dreams are,
but I love them.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I mean, some of them.
Dude, they're a whole different story in your head.
I know. Unless you're dating your ex and then you wake up and find out that you're not dating your ex.
True. However,
I also had some really horrible dreams where like people like die and shit.
I have those too.
Yeah, those scare me.
They are fucking terrifying. Or the ones where you die. Have you had those?
See, honestly, those don't bother me as much.
Really?
It's seeing other people die.
Dude.
Because then it's the fear that like, oh, I'm next. But then if like I just die, it's like, oh.
What happens when you die in your dream? Do you continue on dreaming? Or
no,
do you wake up?
Because
I've continued.
But I don't wake up like freaked out. When I see like other people die, I freak out like in a movie, you know, when they wake up and they're like, ah, it's like that. Genuinely.
Dude.
A lot of people think that's fake, by the way.
What?
Where you wake up like in a movie and you wake up and you're like, ah, it's like, no, that's a thing. You'd wake up and you're freaking
it's like, you know, when you're about to fall asleep and you fall like have a falling feeling and you like jolt awake.
Yeah. I don't like those because then you're like up again. And you're like, God damn it. And you go back to it.
But what I was going to say is I have had dreams where I do die in like my like perspective.
Yeah.
Goes to somebody completely different that was in the area of the dream.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Weird. It is crazy. Well, I mean, for me, I actually don't really fear death because I know like I'm going to Star Wars. I have this crazy conspiracy that like when you die, you kind of make your own heaven. It's like whatever you really want it to be. And in my head, I'm like, I'm going to wake up and I'll be in like Star Wars.
He's just going to be handed.
I will literally be on Tatooine. I'll be like handed, a blade. And I'll just be like, all right, cool.
They're
time
like,
to go do some adventures.
They come down, they get on their knees and they're like, welcome. Yeah.
We've been waiting for you. Thank you, children.
Yeah.
I will be taking my lightsaber now.
Have you ever lucid dreamed?
Where you can control it?
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, dude. I don't think you will know.
See, no, but like I am like, I do what I would do in real life in the dream.
Okay, fair.
But I don't think I like actually control. Like I can't be like, okay, Cal, now move to the left. You know,
it's not like that. At least the way I think that lucid dreaming is I'd be sitting like in a room like this, chilling, right? I'm like talking to someone on a couch, whatever. And I think, and I kind of say it to myself while I'm dreaming, hey, so-and-so is going to walk through that door in like 2 seconds.
Oh.
And guess what? Here they come into the room.
Yeah, I don't think I had that.
And then I'm like, okay, if I open this door, I'm going to go to like
Narnia.
Whatever. Sure, Narnia. All of a sudden, I walk through the door and there I am.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the control that I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm not saying like move left, move right, like dodging bullets like
video
and
game
stuff, you know, like
see,
super hot.
That'd be
like
cool.
super hot. Matrix out here.
So cool.
That isn't the level I've experienced. I also haven't done like out of body stuff either, but like that much control is what I've had 3 times in my life.
Damn.
And it was pretty sick.
I mean, that is pretty damn cool. I hope that I can experience it. Mine's it just feels real.
Yeah.
It feels like something that just happened to me. And then I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck?
That's a hard dream.
Yeah. I dream hard.
Do you wake up tired? Because dreaming causes so much like stress and like brain activity going on.
It feels like I just ran like 1,000 miles like in the dream.
You wake up and your eyes are just heavy.
Yeah.
And you're
I'm like, oh my God.
And then you're like, I have work.
You're like, I just fought a dragon. Fuck. And I have to go to work.
I know.
Damn it. Anyway. So again, nobody really knows what dreams are. But the most agreed upon theory is that they are our subconscious minds creating something as a way to express feelings. But there are other theories that suggest far more mystic options. One of those theories being that dreams are glimpses into your multiversal lives, which I think is a really cool thing.
I do like that one.
Shit is super sick to think about. But the more believable one, in my opinion, is that the universe is trying to tell you something.
Well, that's why stress dreams exist.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that, like, let's say you have a dream about being murdered. I think after doing some research, the dream is supposedly your mind's way of telling you that you are in a vulnerable place right now and that you are actually worried for your safety, your own safety. Perhaps you feel a loss of control over your life. It's an interesting take. If you dream that you are being cheated on by your partner, it doesn't actually mean that they're cheating on you, which apparently is an issue for people.
Well, yeah, don't jump to conclusions just because you
heard a lot of stories
right?
about that.
You get mad at them one day and they're like, what the hell did I even do?
Yeah, you're just living your own life and somebody's just like, cheated on me, you bastard. What? No, but it does mean that you don't have as much trust in the relationship as you probably should. And it also could mean that you're insecure about yourself.
Interesting.
So that's one thing. The last one that we're going to talk about is one that happens to me all the time, which is what we were talking about earlier. It's that I still dream about my exes. And when I wake up, it takes me a solid 5 minutes or so.
What do they say about that, Cal?
Apparently, this kind of dream means that I have unresolved feelings for them. Lol JK. I actually wrote that. It could also mean that I have an anxiety about getting into another relationship out of fear of being hurt again, which in my opinion is a bingo on that.
I feel like
I've definitely gotten hurt a few times, and I am kind of hesitant about opening up to somebody again.
Trust, once again, is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to come by.
Yeah.
And when you try to trust someone and they just burn you, or you know, vice versa or whatever.
I will say it makes you more like, it makes you like yourself more though.
It does. You
know, because you're like, you're not like going out to places and like looking for relationships. So you're kind of just
jumping
like
from relationship to relationship.
You know who you are.
Multiple people.
Anyway, but yeah, it's kind of just like you take the time that you need to learn from what happened and why it didn't work. And then you work on yourself, and then, you know,
and when maybe you find the person that you can make it work with, you know how to make it work.
But I think what's cool is that when you do get hurt, and you like so many times, and then you kind of, like I said, you kind of get more confident in yourself, because you're like, I don't really have to prove anything, because I'm not really looking for a relationship. So you're like, I don't have to prove anything to somebody. Mm-hmm. So when you just talk to somebody, you're just talking to a person. It's not like you're talking to a person, but it's like you're not talking to a romantic interest.
Right. You're thinking more about, like, in our sense, a bro rather than a romantic. No, a romantic. I didn't mean that. I'm just a romantic interest.
Yeah. Right. It was kind of funny though.
It was.
Anyway. Yeah, but that's you know, if I meet a girl at a bar or something, it's more like,
never meet a girl at a bar.
Pumpkin patch. Yeah. Anyway, but that's just what I mean though. It's like you kind of, your wall on the emotional side is up, but it does lower your like social wall. Like you can talk to people a lot easier, you know? So,
well, even I'd say even in relationships, you can talk to people easier because you're so confident in maybe what you have that it's just easy to talk to anybody.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like you have the comfortability of being with somebody, so you don't have to prove yourself to anybody else.
Can I ask you one question before we continue?
Yeah.
It is in relation to the dreams. Would you ever actually want to watch your dreams back? Because I would love it.
Yeah, I think I would. Some of them. Now, there's others that I really wouldn't.
You're like, let's keep that in the archives.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like the ones where I wake up and I'm like, what the hell? And, you know, I'm seeing people get like mobbed. I would rather not see that again.
But if it was something crazy, you know, something you wanted to show people too, you could be like, look at what just happened. Kind of like unexplainable stuff.
I do like sharing dreams. I mean, sometimes it's interesting
how you have such
you have such a vivid dream, and then you wake up the next day and you can like remember every little part of it for about 20 seconds. And then all of a sudden it just fades.
You have to,
even if you're trying to think about it,
write it down when you wake up to it.
I don't have you just energy for that.
Or you just forget it and move on.
It is what it is. I know the gist. I don't need all of it. Anyway, so dreams are definitely weird. But why are we talking about them?
I don't know. Why are we? Must be people have dreams and it's a coincidence that a murder happens. I don't know.
Close, I guess. No cigar though, but it's because we're looking at a story today that has a bit to do with dreams.
Okay.
So let's begin. Mary Ashford, May 27th, 1817.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
The Malignant movie.
Okay. Well, let's do this first. We can talk about Malignant. So this was May 27th, 1817. Okay. I want everybody listening.
May 27th.
To just keep everything
1817.
Okay. All right. Just think about the stuff that I'm going to say. Okay. You're going to pick up on shit. Okay. So the people of Erdington, Birmingham in the UK were celebrating the first holiday of the year. It was called Whit Monday. I don't know what that means. Hopefully our UK fans will let us know. I don't, but I know it's a holiday. And while the weather was unusually cold for that time of year, the young people of Erdington didn't care so much. And so they prepared to party. 20-year-old Mary Ashford lived a town over and worked as a housekeeper for her uncle. One of her friends that lived in Erdington invited Mary to join her at a dance party at the Tyburn Inn on Chester Road. Mary, being a young kid looking for fun, was all over it. She then walked to Erdington and spent a few hours with her friend Hannah Cox before the two of them walked to the Tyburn Inn. Okay. Following along?
Mm-hmm.
Mary was known as an outgoing girl. Her personality demanded attention as she was the life of the party. Being that as it was, Mary received a lot of attention from men, although only one matched her personality, Abraham Thornton. Thornton was a good-looking dude. He was a farmer's son and actually served as a steward for a lord in Erdington. He seemed like a nice guy, and once he approached Mary, the two were inseparable. They danced together for hours until around midnight, when Hannah decided she was tired and wished to return home. Hannah had also met a young man who went by the name of Benjamin Carter, and after some pushback by Mary due to her desire to stay, she finally agreed, and the four of them left the party. Benjamin, the one that was dancing with Hannah, however, didn't stay long after that and decided to return to the Tyburn Inn as he decided his night wasn't over yet. After a bit more walking, Mary and Abraham told Hannah that they were going to go somewhere else. Hannah, annoyed obviously, had no other choice but to walk home alone in the darkness. Friend.
Yeah.
She reached her house an hour later and passed out right then and there, only to be awoken around 4 a.m. to a knock at her door. She peered out her window and noticed it was Mary, this time alone, calling her name. Hannah let her friend in, and Mary told her how she spent the night sleeping at her grandmother's house, which was nearby, because she didn't wish to walk all the way back to her farm in the black sheet of night. However, what she failed to mention is that she didn't do that at all. What actually happened was that she and Abraham walked to the nearby fields, and she even had sex with him before they went their separate ways. So,
why wouldn't you just tell your friend?
I don't know. But Hannah
seems odd.
Although annoyed, felt as though this was going good for her friend. She recalled Mary telling her about these strange dreams and that she felt a sense of dread, like something was going to happen. Mary had even said that she could tell that it was her unlucky month. But Hannah could see that Mary was in much better spirits now. And so Mary changed out of her party clothes and bid goodbye to Hannah before leaving the house and returning to her farm. But unfortunately, that was the last time Mary would ever be seen alive. Some crazy shit.
Shouldn't have let her go.
Okay. Sorry, I need a quick monster here. We are not sponsored by them.
Not yet.
Please, God. Please, Monster, sponsor us. Need me to fucking slide down a mountain on a skis or something? I'll do it. That'd be cool. Anyway. Mary's body is found. At 7 a.m. that same morning, so 3 hours later, a man by the name of George Jackson was on his way to work. He was passing by a mill when he noticed something out of the ordinary next to a small pond. It was a pair of shoes, a bundle of clothes, and a bonnet. Believing the worst, he decided to run to the mill and tell the workers. Some of the mill workers decided to head to the spot, and there they pulled the body of Mary Ashford from the pond. Mary, sadly, had been raped and strangled to death. Prime suspect.
The guy.
Who, out of anyone in the story so far, do you believe is the prime suspect?
Obviously, the last person she was seen with before her friend.
Abraham Thornton was arrested almost immediately.
Shocker.
A detective from Birmingham was put in charge of the case, and while the trial for Thornton was set for August 8th, 3 months later, the town had already made up their mind on Abraham. The word was spreading like wildfire that Mary was a sweet and honest girl, and Abraham took her virtue and that he was pretty much just an asshole. So now here we get to the trial. The trial of Abraham Thornton was at max capacity. Reporters from every city were there, as well as the locals who wanted to see Thornton sentenced. The prosecution gave a bunch of witnesses, all that gave and confirmed the timeline of Mary's last night alive. And of course, the last time she was seen alive.
So this is a big deal.
This is a huge deal. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. But the defendant's side offered different witnesses and alibis to Thornton, saying he was a few miles in the opposite direction and even had conversations with people in another town during the time that Mary was murdered. So the judge thought on the case for 2 hours before deciding to have the jury discuss the fate of Thornton. The judge told them that they must think hard on the evidence. If there was any doubt, he said that he would rather have a guilty man walk free than an innocent one hung for no reason. And so, after deliberating for only 6 minutes, the jury found Thornton not guilty.
6 minutes.
6 minutes is all it took.
Wow.
So
Everyone didn't see.
thoughts. Do you believe Thornton did it?
Right now?
Uh-huh.
No. I do have a couple thoughts of what could have happened.
Okay. Let's hear him.
The other guy thought it was the
That
other
Benjamin
girl.
Carter or whatever?
Thought it was the other girl and killed the wrong person.
Okay.
That is a theory I'm kind of stewing in my head right now.
It's a good one. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
So we'll see. We'll see. Now, I mean, if the jury took 6 minutes, usually the jury is smart enough to catch on to the evidence shown, right? And make a just decision.
Yeah.
I just watched a movie on a whole
all
jury
that stuff.
Court case.
Oh, yeah.
And how they also, but their deliberation was way longer than 6 minutes. They took like a week or two. But
so this was
crazy.
back at a time when, if you were found guilty for something like this, you'd be hung.
Immediately hung, right?
Yeah. And so it's like the judge saying that he would rather have a guilty man walk free.
It's a big statement by the judge.
It is. But it's also like, would you? I mean, like,
what if he does it to somebody else?
Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now that,
but then also at the same time,
now if it happens again,
if he was just a dude and then you get wrongfully accused just for hooking up with a girl at a bar, and then all of a sudden, you get found guilty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Imagine being in his shoes.
Yeah.
Right. You're sitting there and you're like, I didn't do shit.
Yeah.
And you're getting, prosecuted. You're trying to tell your defense attorney all the information, and they're doing as much as they can,
but
they know
the town
the
already made up their minds on him. So, I mean, the dude would, even if he didn't do it, he's getting
hate.
Looks and hate everywhere he goes. So that would be brutal. I mean, if I was him, I'd pack up and just dip, which we'll get into later. But there's that one.
Just start anew.
So do you believe Thornton did it at all? Do you think there's a version of that story where he did do it?
There could be. I feel like I need a little bit more information right now to figure that out.
Well, we don't have any.
It's just, that's
it. That's literally all it is. It was 1817, fool.
I guess that's true. But that was a long time ago.
The point is, though, it's like, so if I was him and he hooked up with a girl and then he just left.
Right.
Why
kill her?
Would he go back? Because she went to Hannah's after they did that.
And then left again.
So why the hell would you hook up with a girl and then go find her again, rape her and then kill her?
Yeah, you already had her consent and everything.
Yeah.
Easy. That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
That is a good point.
So,
that's what I was thinking is it doesn't make sense for him to do that.
Which is why I think the jury, it only took him 6 minutes to be like,
they had to be presented something that was just like, gotcha.
Yeah.
Easy decision.
I mean, even if the judge was sitting there 2 hours, he was by himself and he was just like, yeah, that's.
So there's no more to this story. That is where it ends.
That's where it ends.
Really?
Now, so basically,
I was honestly waiting for you to be like, all right, there's a little bit more.
No.
Now.
So that concludes the trial of
him.
The murder for Marietta. So unfortunately,
did they do any more investigating?
So her brother actually filed another. This is a very big legal case because it actually turns. I saw that it changes the entire way that trials and stuff was done in the UK.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I didn't go into these that many specifics because we're not a fucking law podcast. Right. All right.
Yeah.
But the point is, the brother filed another lawsuit against the dude and they said you couldn't do that within a certain time of being not guilty. And he he did a loophole and then he found a way and then the dude had to go to trial again for something else.
The same guy?
Yeah.
Really?
Thornton went to trial again for the same, or it was for something different, but technically the same thing. So it's he found a loophole how to do it. And then Thornton got off not guilty again. And then he dipped out.
I mean, I feel like there's only two other main really suspects.
I mean,
left,
the Benjamin
right?
Car. But I mean,
Benjamin,
it also could have just
but
been
also-
a random dude.
It could have. Wrong place, wrong time, right?
Wrong place, wrong time. You're walking home at night, like
And
4 a.m.
Someone's just like, oh, I feel like doing this.
Yeah.
And he drives by you or,
Yeah.
walks by you or especially if you tell your friends something bad I feel like something bad's
So
going to
that's
happen.
why we talked about dreams at the beginning.
Why would you not be like, you know what, Mary, why don't you stay here tonight? Let's just.
Well, I think Hannah was probably pretty annoyed with her friend, which like I would be too, because that was kind of like.
Well, if you're annoyed with your friend, do you do bad things?
It's true. That's facts. I'm just saying, like, I can't really hate on Hannah for not inviting her to stay. But she was like, Mary's in a good mood. I'm just going to go to bed and she can just walk home. It's almost morning.
But now you're Hannah and you live with
that.
If she didn't do it.
Yeah.
If she didn't do it. Now you live with.
Yeah. What if Hannah did it?
That's what I'm saying. But if she didn't, now you live with that guilt of, man, I should have asked her to stay here and not walk home alone in the dark.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's also weird that she came to her house after staying at her grandma's house.
Well, she didn't. She said she
did. Yeah. She lied about that.
Yeah, she lied about it. Yeah, because she was with Abraham the whole time.
Right.
Yeah. So she didn't actually do that. But yeah.
But you could have just went to your grandma's house.
You could have. Now
and wild. That's unfortunate. Very sad for that poor girl.
That's that one. Okay. Barbara Forrest.
Why does that name sound so fake? It does.
All right. I don't know. All right. 20-year-old Barbara Forrest was described as a kind and sweet girl.
Now I feel bad.
You should. She worked as a nurse at a children's hospital and had a great reputation. On the night of May 27th, 1974, Barbara was hanging out with her boyfriend, Simon Belcher, in Erdington, Birmingham. She had a pretty rough week. She had told her boyfriend and colleague that she believes a bad month is coming for her, although she was unsure as to why. The couple decided to go to Whit Monday church service. Once the service had concluded, they went to the pubs after to dance and have a drink. As time went on, Barbara decided to call it a night, and Simon walked her to a bus stop around 1 a.m. Simon hugged and kissed her goodbye, then went about his night and made his way home himself. But unfortunately, that was the last time Barbara was seen alive. Her body was discovered the next day, lying in a ditch in Pipe Hayes Park, which was near the bus stop. They had found that Barbara had been strangled and raped. However, Simon was not a suspect. Instead, the police went to investigate a coworker of Barbara's. He apparently had been a bit weird and seemed infatuated with her. When police knocked on his door, he gave an alibi but was taken in for further questioning as officers noticed blood stained on his pants. The man's name was Michael Ian Thornton. Thornton was charged with the murder of Barbara Forrest, but after a brief trial, he was found not guilty due to a lack of evidence, and the case remains open. Now, just a quick flip back to Mary's case. The pond she was found dead in was eventually turned into a park. The park's name was Pipe Hayes Park.
Interesting.
Now,
so this is all in the same area.
The similarities here. Not sure if those cases sounded familiar to you or not, but they were in fact very, very similar. And this is completely unexplained. Both women were 20 years old. Both were found near Pipe Hayes Park dead. Both felt a sense of dread before dying. Both were raped and strangled to death. The prime suspect in both cases had the last name Thornton. Both women spent the night before drinking and dancing, and both were murdered on May 27th.
Wow. What a bad day.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Isn't that crazy, dude?
It really is.
I mean,
both of them come out scot-free. Is that the saying?
I will say,
is it scotch-free or scot-free?
Scot-free.
Scot-free?
Yeah.
I thought I said that correctly.
I will say, the Abraham Thornton in the first story, I could see him not being guilty. This Michael Ian Thornton dude, that guy sounds guilty as hell to me.
If you're
infatuated with her, you got blood on your pants. Like,
so weird. But like,
what the hell?
He was let go. He had a good alibi, apparently.
Yeah.
No info on what it was.
I'm going to be real with you here.
Did you look for it?
I was able to find every detail I possibly could about Mary Ashford, I, honest to God, couldn't even find a damn case file or anything on the Barbara Forrest.
Really?
Every single article that I could find about Barbara Forrest was about how weird and the comparisons between the two. So you only get a brief little bit on Barbara Forrest. That's why we kind of didn't really go as deep into it.
Interesting.
It's tough. It sucks because
That's
it's
kind
like
of strange.
Well, in my head, it sucks because her story goes kind of like underneath the idea that it's just like a crazy coincidence, as opposed to like her story. Because I want to know more about her story, but I couldn't for the life of me fucking find anything.
Shit, if any of you guys know or have found something deep in the web.
Yeah, anything else, that'd be sick. Because
Shit, we're sitting here like, fuck.
No idea.
I need to know more.
I know.
Dude,
Unfortunately,
like
that's
had
it.
to have had something good to get off. Like, but also,
I don't know, man.
well, crazy that their last names are the same.
Yeah, no, the whole thing is crazy. Same area, same day.
Maybe they're part of the same
They're
family.
doing the same thing.
That could make sense.
Well, so we'll get into that. So, the aftermath here. Abraham Thornton, his reputation never recovered, and he had no choice but to move. In fact, he moved here to the United States, where little to none is known about him post-move.
So he just started new.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
his family's probably here and stuff and whatever, but
maybe if he was innocent, it would be nice to get away from all the hate and stuff and start in a place where no one knows you.
yeah.
You know?
So Michael Thornton was let go, but Barbara's sister never let it go. She constantly spoke about the crime, how a guilty man walked away, and how justice had not been served. The most recent thing I have heard about this is that Barbara's sister has asked police to compare DNA samples of that to sorry, compare DNA samples. I don't know.
Jeez, bro.
Fucking something's in my throat. Shit. Anyway,
Take a drink.
I'm out. I'm talking a lot. Anyway, Barbara's sister has asked police to compare DNA samples to that of Michael Thornton. So the samples that they found to Michael Thornton, which I guess it hadn't been done before. And she is currently awaiting word from officials. So that's about it.
Like as of today?
As of today. Like they're still waiting.
Really?
Like she's still out there trying to get this guy.
Dang.
So that's unfortunate, but the cases are both open. They're not.
What year
closed.
did this one happen?
75, I think it was, or 74.
74.
Yeah. So
19, right?
1974. Yeah. So it's crazy.
So
They're
over 150
almost 150 years or over 150
Right.
year difference, and it's pretty much the same case.
On the same day, in the same town.
Yeah.
By a person potentially with the same last name.
They were both killed the same way.
Yeah.
Both did the same thing before getting killed.
Just going to have a fun night.
It's crazy, dude. So the questions that I have really is, can dreams tell the future? I mean, can they? If you have a sense of dread or something, you should probably take that as a warning sign. Even if you don't believe it, I still feel like
Just be cautious about it.
Yeah, just be like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. You know, like, let's say you're
Like a dream before going out, like on a big night or something. Maybe you should stay in.
going to reschedule. Yeah. Or maybe, you know, let's say you usually jaywalk. Maybe there's just a road and you're like, I can run across it real quick or whatever. Maybe that day, like, don't do that. Wait for the stop sign.
Yeah.
You know, maybe.
Yeah, go to the crosswalk.
And also, should we, I guess it's kind of the same thing, but should we look deeper into the dreams that we're having? Should you try to analyze it more and be like, why did I have that dream?
I think the thing that's hard about that is people struggle to even remember their dreams most of the time.
True.
So
A lot of people do, though. So those
to
who
an
do,
extent, right?
those who do
maybe.
look into them or what?
But is it also a waste of time to do that? By trying to look too far into something that potentially is not even guiding any at all.
Well, I know, dude, there's a theory out there that literally says like dreams are the universe telling you what you should and should not be doing. It's like if you, there's a weird thing. Okay. I know you brought up September. We had that little thing earlier.
It's the 14th.
But
first
genuinely.
Off. And I said 18, 14.
I get it. I'm just saying genuinely.
Or 18.
It's weird how I'm going back to this. But on September 11th, there were people who had dreams and they like decided not to go into work.
And some people went into work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so it is like,
I feel if you just have a weird feeling about a day, maybe you should just listen to yourself.
That,
right?
That reminds me too. Jake Johnson, the guy who plays Nick on New Girl.
Love him.
Yes. So I saw a podcast. Jesus Christ.
I thought you were about to say like a pod classic.
Podcast clip of him. He was talking about how when he was a kid, his mom said that he was a part of, there was a school shooting.
Mm-hmm.
He was like at his school, his elementary school or something like that. And his mom said he said he woke up one day and his mom came out of her room and she was like, "You are not going to school today." And he goes, "Why?" And then that happened. So that's like a crazy thing. It's true. It's like if you have a horrible feeling, like, yeah, life, you have to go, you have to pay your bills, you have to do stuff like that. But if the world is telling you, like, or the universe or your dream or something is telling
Staying home one day is not going to kill you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, it might actually save you.
Yeah. Obviously, like, there could be 100 different times where, you have a bad dream and then nothing happens. I mean, that happens to me all the time.
Sometimes when I watch a scary movie, I just have a scary dream.
Exactly.
It, it's just because my mind's thinking that.
There's a difference. Like if you have that feeling of like, I am not doing this.
Right.
Then you just don't do it. You're like, this is a horrible idea. I'm not doing this. So anyway, there was that. And I do want to say like this whole thing, was it just like really a coincidence, or do you think it could be something supernatural? A glitch in the matrix, as they say.
Being that far apart from each other, I think it's just a random coincidence.
But it's kind of too perfect to be a random coincidence.
But on the other hand,
yeah,
maybe someone got a hold of information that happened in that area around that time and was like, this would be kind of interesting to do again. There's some sick people out there.
Okay.
What if they wanted to be a copycat, right? There's copycat killers.
Yeah.
That exists.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of left open to what you just can interpret and
it's true,
guess.
But then you'd have to frame the Thornton dude, so then it's like it repeats itself kind of thing. I mean, it's strange, dude. Yeah,
the blood on the pants is a little interesting.
Yeah. I wish I knew more about that. I really don't. I couldn't find anything about the actual case.
Yeah, it's wild.
It was just every time you looked up Barbara Forrest, it was all just comparisons to the Mary Ashford case. And that's the unfortunate thing. So I don't know. It does suck that Barbara Forrest's case has been kind of buried in the coincidental aspect of this. And I feel
like no one's doing it justice, right? Yeah.
And I feel bad that we kind of share that because we are just talking about how it's a coincidence. But if I could change it, I would. And I don't know.
But you said her sister's fighting for it still.
Yeah.
So someone's doing something about it.
Yeah. I just don't know if that'll ever go anywhere. I hope it does. I really do. But if it's been this long and things haven't been done, then, that is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, at that point, when do you give up hope? Right.
I don't know if you ever do. I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully I never have to be in that position, but I'm just saying that would, I don't know. That's tough. It's an unfortunate thing. So anyway, that was fun, I guess.
It's interesting. Quite interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. The whole kind of dream aspect of it too. They both had a horrible feeling and then all of a sudden the same thing. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
dreams are weird, man. Maybe we should do an episode about them.
Yeah. I mean, technically we did this, but yeah,
I mean, like a more full deep dive into just
we're going to do because we don't know where this episode.
Well, I
guess,
go, but guess that one will go after this one.
Yeah. So, anyway,
well, I hope you guys have some string questions among these topics.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Supernatural.
Yeah, let's spark a conversation. Let us know what you're thinking, because I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on what you might have think would have happened.
Yeah, and honestly, what I really want to know is if you've had any strange coincidences or strange dreams or things like that we were talking about. That'd be really cool if we could hear some of those. So go ahead and throw them in the comment section down below, and make sure to hit that bell notification. No, but seriously, put them in the comments. That'd be sick. I'd like to read them.
We would.
Yeah. So
what are we at?
We're at an hour.
An hour?
Mm-hmm. So
top of the hour. Time to go watch Heretic, baby.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Supernaturals.
Don't forget, we are on Instagram,
Patreon, and
TikTok. Check out
Patreon.
Our Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, all the links.
Patreon.
We got a cool UFO video up there. So
yeah, we do. If you want to see a UFO that my dad saw, it's on Patreon. So go ahead and like and subscribe on the Patreon.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
And listening and watching. We'll see you around the graveyard.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to this chilling episode of The Supernaturals. For your protection, make sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And stay tuned for the next episode.